to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today we were going to make a couple of wrenches with the plasma cutter, but I had all kind of trouble, including one of the files with the double image in the darn thing, and so there's a lot of editing required, and I didn't get to do that. And on top of that, I discovered that my wire line is chock full of water. I don't see anything getting knocked out, you know, in the little thing behind the torch, you know, behind the prime weld. The water is apparently going right on past it without falling out. That could be a reason I've been having a lot of trouble here lately. But nevertheless, I'm going to have to find a way to fix the water and fix the corrupted DXF files, and then we'll make some wrenches with the plasma cutter. Instead, we're going to work on one of my latest auction purchases. I'm like Mr. Pete, I keep going back, back to the auction, that is. And so what we're going to do is see what I bought, and we're going to go ahead and fix it to fit into my shop. One thing I was thinking about before I go, this is just a few days away to the next Steel Challenge, just about 4 days from now, and maybe, yeah, about 4 days. Last month I went to the Steel Challenge and I improved on the previous month by about 5 seconds, but I'm still 5 seconds short of my best time. And while I was there, I got suckered into being the range officer for the first time ever. And I had, I guess, what, 13 people on my squad, you know, including me. There was a couple of teenage girls and a preteen girl and a lady that was probably about 45, and all the rest of us were geezers. I bet none of them was under 65. So one thing I learned was that geezers walk slow out to paint the targets, and they paint slow, they walk back slow, and we finished about a half hour behind everybody else. But there you go. I guess you could have called it the geezer squad if we hadn't had the young girls on it. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, this Sunday I'll be right back trying again. Alright, so let's just get right on with it. Well, due to the power of auctions are, you know, the auction addiction, it's just like drugs, you know. And so I got involved in another auction. I bid $11 on this monster, and I won. And once the tax, title, and license was all paid, it was $14 and something. Of course, I had to drive almost 100 miles. It was on the other side of Houston, 48 miles over and 48 miles back. So, you know, and I'm going to tell you what, I thought sure this time that I had bit off more than I could chew. When I tried getting it away from the wall, it was a heck of a thing. Finally I got a two-wheeler, I could get it away from the wall. And then I got it sitting there, and I could see they had broken down two-wheelers there. One, the handle was coming off, and the other had flat tires on it. So I backed my truck up to it and I leaned it over backwards, and I didn't think I was going to be able to pick it up and put it in there. I don't know what that weighs, but it's definitely too much for a geezer, you know. And then when I got it here, I thought, boy, I'll be lucky when I unload it if it doesn't crunch me on the ground. But I got it off. That top door there has got a pin missing out of the hinge on the right side, so I'm going to leave it open until I find a pin to go in it, and then we'll close it up. I was trying to find out how much this thing weighs, and I discovered these things are sell for north of $700 new. So I guess I got a good deal, but now I got to figure out where I'm going to put it. You know, there's always that next little nagging question, well, where are you going to put it? I hadn't got any good answer to that. And there was a big old sheet of glass in there. Hang on. When I stood the thing up on its feet, I heard something go crashing around inside, and it was this and some little file folder holding things that had got down behind the drawers. This is a real, sure enough, He-Man sized chunk of glass here. That's at least a 1/2 inch thick. And it's heavy, so it wouldn't help much taking it out before I loaded and unloaded though. Alrighty, I fixed the hinge pin on the right. It's exactly the size of a piece of gas welding rod, and I replaced that and discovered that the plastic part of the hinge on the left is broken. That's probably $100 item or something. So I guess at some point I'll have to figure out how to fix that or make another one or something. But right now, I guess the main problem is where to put it. Alright, so I've decided to fix the broken hinge. You can see how that one right there has got a plastic piece on each end that goes down into on the outside of the metal tabs, and then it's got a rod through it. Okay, and then let's move over here. So let's move over here and take a look at this old one that I broke. And I'll turn this camera where I can see what I'm doing. And if you'll notice this guy here, it's hard to keep it in the camera. I made a piece of metal, did this off camera, and put it here to replace the broken off loop. Alright, I'm going to zoom the camera back out so I got better control of what's going on. Alright, anyway, I made this little piece of metal to take the place of that broken loop. And I'm going to make another piece of metal to go in here. It'll be thick on one side to go down in this depression, and thin on the other part to go across that spot there with the two little bars. And then I'm going to put a screw through the thing to sort of clamp it all together, because I've got super glue on this, but I know I should be into better living through chemistry like the DuPont boys, but I just can't bring myself to trust it, you know. But at least I think it fits. Yeah, it fits a little bit tight, but it fits there. So now to make a little piece of metal to screw on there to clamp it really good and tight. Well, I discovered this depression here covers the edge down here of the of the door, so there's no room in there for a piece of metal. And I should have cut this off a little closer, so I'm gonna have to go over there in the vise and try to trim off some of this stuff without overheating this thing or anything. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try to take my Dremel and just trim that off until it clears over there. But I'm going to do a little at a time because it probably get too hot. That's the way I'm going to have to do it until I get the thing trimmed down. Maybe I'll be able to make a little clamp to go over it there once I get it to clear. We'll see. I'm going to move you guys back for a little nap so that I can do this without worrying about getting crud on the lens. Okay, so I ground off a tiny bit of the edge of the door there, and then I performed a forming operation on the edge of the door, and I think I've got it fitting great, so I'll put it back together and we'll see how that comes out. Well, imperfect as it is, that's going to have to do it for now. I've got the rail straight as a rail, so to speak, but it still sags because my hinge repair didn't have the accuracy of the original hinge repair. But what the hey, it'll work, and as long as it works, that's what I want. We'll have to now go and get some wheels. I think I'm going to put 6 cast steel wheels on this thing and roll it over there to take the place of the drill press and that other cabinet. Well, after some maneuvering, I got the thing laying on its back there on the little scissor lift. And So now to start putting wheels on the bottom of it. I think it'll go all right, but we'll have to see. There's a piece of material. You see the two holes on what's now on top there. There's a piece of something, wood or something behind that. So the rib nuts that I was going to put in there won't go on one side, I guess. I'll have to drill a hole and see what I see. Alright, I got a letter bit here. It's 0.339 inches. I'll try that and see how well it does. Left my glasses inside, so I'm having a hard time. I guess if I wasn't so lazy, I'd go get them. Well, that's not good enough for a hole. That's a little harder. Possibly that'll do it. A little bit. All right. Let's get a rib nut and see what it does. Rib nut screwed onto the tool. I think I've got the stroke set about right. This thing doesn't come with instructions, so we'll just have to see what we see. Well, in the first place, the hole's too small. I have to go get one larger. Well, I embiggened the hole with a 11/32, and if I can zoom over here just a little bit better, there. And then I sort of tapped it in with a hammer, so we can still screw this thing into the rib nut, get it all the way up. That feels tight. Well, that feels tight too. So I got the stroke maybe a little bit too long. Well, it's apparently in there pretty good. So I'll do this to see 4, 8, 12. I'll do this somewhere around 36 more times, and then I'll wake you back up. Alright, so I've got one on there, and I learned one thing. It's better to drill one hole, put the nut in it, drill another hole, take the thing off, put the nut in it, tighten those two down, and then drill the other holes. Otherwise, you'll wind up like that guy right there on the bottom right hand corner, not lined up, you know. So there you go. I'm going to do all the corners, and then I'll decide whether I want to do the middle. I was going to put 6 of these on here, but I'm sure I think maybe 4. Back to sleep. Alright, there we are. 4 wheels on there. Took me over an hour because I kept messing up and one thing and another. And I got enough tools out there to install a catapult on an aircraft carrier. But I've got 4 wheels on there, and that's where I'm stopping. I think they'll handle enough weight, and like I say, this is where I'm stopping. I've only got 2 batteries that DeWalt cordless drill, and the second one gave out before I got through with the 3rd hole on the 3rd wheel. So I got the plug-in AC guy. There's no substitute for an endless stream of angry pixies coming down that wire. You can't beat it. Doesn't run down. Works all day. Alright, let's see if an old redneck can stand this thing up on the wheels. or not. Well, there you go. I think that does it. Probably for the whole video. Well, we'll take a little shot down to Plaquemine Parish there in Louisiana, and we got, Thibodeau and Boudreaux. They decided they needed a job, and there's this company hiring, so they both went in, took pre-employment test. And the test took a couple of hours, And so when they got through, the boss man come out and got the two tests. He graded them, and he come back. He says, "Well," he says, "you boys both made the same grade on the test." He says, "So I'm going to hire Mr. Boudreaux here." And Thibodeau says, "Well, wait a minute." He says, "Look here," he says, "if we made the same grade on the test, how come you're hiring Boudreaux and you ain't hiring me?" And the boss man says, "Well," he says, "it's only counted down here on question 32. Boudreaux wrote down, I ain't got any idea what the answer to this is. And on question 32, you said, I ain't got none either." Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.